Hey you guys, welcome back to the stream. Today we're going to be taking a look at Crowfall's crafting skills. So this is the second video in our mini installment of skills overviews. The first video I did exploration, so if you haven't seen that and you want to see something like that, go ahead and check out that video. Otherwise, this video will be primarily focusing on the crafting skills, and that is the second option here in universals. So crafting is a universal skill. Clicking on this will bring up crafting basics, jewel crafting, alchemy, stonemasonry, necromancy, rune making, woodworking, blacksmithing, and leatherworking. So you can clearly see there is a shit ton of crafting skills. And each of these will have their own skill trees or multiple skill trees. So we'll take a look at that. My goal is to try to keep this as short and as sweet as possible. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into crafting basics. Treat these as kind of your foundation, your core crafting skills. You do need a minimum of 100 points into crafting basics before you can unlock, these basic skill trees here. So let's take a look at crafting basics. I'm going to try to burn through these, and it'll provide some basic explanation if we need to, but for the sake of time here, we're going to try to burn through these as quick as possible. So we have crafting basics. This is basically just going to increase your assembly success. Also increases increasing basic crafting stat for all professions of statistics of that type. So just a generic crafting buff. The first option is experimentation. So you get experimentation points. It's kind of basically like a gambling point system where you bid a certain amount of experimentation points into various stat allocations, and you have a chance of increasing the quality or increasing that stat value. And that's currently how the system's set up. So this will increase the amount of points you get to do that. This one, crafting basic experimentation, increases the chance that your experimentation will succeed. So as you dump more points in, there's a higher chance of it failing. I would imagine that's a fairly common theme as you're progressing through and you want to upgrade more. RNG is going to get a little bit tighter and tighter. So yeah, the next one beneath that is exceptional experimentation points. More experimentation points. These are all experimentation points, so you can increase them by one for 3 days and another one for 3 days. So total of 4, I believe. Yep. Here you have experimentation success rates getting buffed. Then once you get here, you're kind of unlocking all these things. So I was wrong. You don't need, I think there's a minimum requirement of 100 points, but you also need to make it all the way through. So for example, if you see myself, I am leveling this up, and you can see why it's pulsating here. The primary reason why I want to get here is I want to be able to get to blacksmithing basics, woodworking basics, or stonemasonry basics. I would like to get one of these 3 things. If I was interested in something like necromancy, I would have to go up here and get to necromancy, right? So, you have to unlock all of these, or you have to unlock at least a linear path to get to where you need to be. So you see the only way to get the necromancy is going through the top branch, since the bottom branch only gets you to alchemy. So the basics are kind of the subtrees I already went over. I won't go over them again, but just real quick, it's rune making, necromancy, alchemy, stonemasonry, woodworking, blacksmithing, leatherworking, jewel crafting, and then this one is just merchant basics, so buffing your return business statistics. This one is vendor thralls, so basically you can use thralls as vendors. So I would imagine these thralls will kind of sell stuff for you, which would be pretty interesting concept to have. So vendor thralls charge to sell goods. Yeah, so they do charge you to sell your stuff. Once you get to crafting mastery, you make it your way through here. It increases the chance of assembly success when assembling basic crafting items. Okay, I feel like that's just kind of an additional bonus that you can get. The next tree after crafting basics is mass production. This is interesting. Mass production basics, so reduces the amount of build time required to create a factory object. So reduces the cost of ethereal dust to power a factory. That's interesting. So that's one use for ethereal dust. So this is the same, identical all the way across. Reduces the build time required to create a factory object. That's reduces it all the way across. So you can stack multiple points in that. Grants the ability to operate an additional factory. Interesting. So you can have up to 4 factories. I'm assuming you have 1 by default, and then 2, 3, 4. This one is blueprints you create will have increased maximum production amount. Maximum production amount. Interesting. Efficient blueprint. I don't know what that means specifically, but blueprints you create will have an increased maximum production amount. So that is mass production mastery. Very interesting. Let's get back into the crafting here. Since there's no back button, we had to manually click through, and I think we're good. Okay, that's crafting basics. Let's take a look at jewel crafting. If you're trying to be a jewel crafter, you want your jewel crafting basics here. So assembly success increase. Here you're going to increase the amount of experimentation points available when experimenting on jewel crafting items. We already went through that concept of experimentation points. I won't go through that again. It's kind of formatted the same, right? Except for jewel crafting here. Now you have experimentation success and experimentation point allocation. And then here eventually you get increase in both. The second branch is increases the assembly success. Increases the assembly success. So these are all assembly success chances and time. This is time to craft. So success rate and time of crafting. Success rate I would probably rate is a little bit more important than time, but that's my opinion. This next branch is jewel crafting recipes. So you need to unlock recipes by, unlocking these skills before you can get to mastery, which will then give you assembly success, experimentation success, jewel crafting, and experimentation points. Just a little bit of everything. The independent branch here is going to be, jewel crafting production. Grants the ability to equip apprentice thralls into jewel crafting stations. Teaches your thralls to add increased durability to the items crafted at the crafting station it is equipped at. Okay. With equipped thralls now grant specialized buffs when standing near them. Greatly decreases the time to craft. Okay. Grants the ability to equip adept thralls. Novice thralls. Novice thralls and adept thralls. Okay. This one doesn't have any subtrees. Nope. Next. Pretty straightforward. Alchemy. I wonder if they're formatted the same. So yeah, it does look like alchemy. You have experimentation points here. At this tree, experimentation points, and then experimentation success at the top. These potions have assembly success and assembly speed, same thing. These potions have recipes, that's right. Unlocking more complicated recipes as you progress. And I'm assuming this is like a market, right? Yep, alchemy crafting stations, yep. This is increases the okay, so add increased amounts to the potions crafted, and then this is granting a buff at the station, and these are equipping novice and adept thralls before you get to the mastery. Okay, so that's alchemy. I think we're gonna burn through this. I have a feeling they're all gonna be pretty much laid out the same, just with different materials, right? Stonemasonry. Exactly. So you can progress up here into craftsmanship for the experimentation points, okay, and experimentation success. That would be fairly, interesting. I'm trying to think out loud here. Crafting in general, I wonder which of these is most important. It'd be kind of interesting to find out. I think obviously, stonemasonry recipes would be interesting. Yeah, I'm assuming you have to unlock these. And then I would probably do like success rate, and then experimentation. But yeah, I digress. You know, it's formatted the same. I don't think I need to bother with reading through it, but you know, the mastery is increased assembly success, experimentation success, stonemasonry items, or yeah, increased success when crafting them, and also increases the amount of experimentation points available. Is it gonna be the same? Body parts. Yeah, I think so. Experimentation point success. Okay, so this is points and this is success. Assembly success up on top. Assembly speed. Yep, time to craft. Yep. Then here you're gonna unlock recipes. Yep. And then here you're selling, you're vending withdrawals. Correct. The final stat gives you increase the chance of assembly success and experimentation success while crafting necromancy vessels or components. Also increase the amount of experimentation points available. Cool. Very cool. I love that necromancy. Rune making. Is it the same? Of course it is. So rune making, you know, you have your experimentation success rate, experimentation points. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, just kind of going over this and over and over and over for the various ones, but maybe we'll theory craft a tiny bit. And you guys will hopefully get additional bonus content here. But yeah, this is the last one I'll probably go over. They're all kind of formatted the same, so I probably have them memorized by heart now. So yeah, this top one is going to be, you know, the gambling points, experimentation points, they call them. Down here, the amount of experimentation points, and up here, the experimentation success rate. Over here, you have, you know, your assembly success, and then your assembly speed. Here you have unlocking recipes, this orange section, and here you have your vending options, unlocking, you know, better thralls to vend, and then also allowing your thralls to grant buffs and increased durability, and then of course a little bit of each for the mastery. So, you know, that's rune crafting, formatted exactly the same way. Wood will be the same thing. Blacksmithing, wood, skills that teach and enhance the crafting of bows and wood components. Blacksmithing, skills that teach and enhance the crafting of tools and metal components. And leatherworking, pretty self-explanatory, skills that teach and enhance the crafting of leather armors and leather components. So there you have it. You have crafting. As you can see, it's a pretty developed, subsection here. I should probably do my due diligence and see if there are actually subtrees, huh? Not for that one. I don't think so either for any of these. Yep. Just some educated guesses. But like I said in a previous video, this game, Crowfall, seems to, really encourage crafting. So hope you guys enjoyed kind of that skill tree overview. It is about 15 minutes, so when I said short and sweet, it is short and sweet. I did kind of skip over a little bit just because I didn't feel like literally repeating myself 4 more times going through the same format, their identical format, and that could potentially change. So when that does change, I'll go ahead and probably push out a new video just to kind of update people on what the changes are. And by change, I mean if they kind of mix and match or kind of customize those trees a little bit more specific to the resource. But as of right now, they're all, each resource, even though they're independent of each other, follow the exact same like skill tree formatting. So with that being said, for those of you who, you know, came here specifically just to see the skills overviews, I'm pretty much going to be wrapping up this video now. And then anything after this, at this moment on, I would like to probably take another 15 minutes or so to talk about crafting and my experience and theory of crafting. So feel free to stay for that if you guys are having questions and whatnot, specifically relating to that, and I'll try to answer some questions the best that I can, hopefully, and I'll try to give you guys an honest perspective from what I've experienced. So let's start with, what skills am I leveling, because I'm obviously leveling a crafting skill right now, and why. I kind of briefly went over it. So with crafting being such a big part in this game and such a backbone to this game, I originally wanted to pick up woodworking for Druid, to be all honest with you, and I've invested like days to progressing this way. So it was very difficult to turn back, even if I decided, hey, Druid might not be my main anymore. I may want to switch it to something else, like a Legionnaire or something like that. So then maybe I want to do blacksmithing instead, and I can still do that because you can kind of see the kind of like bluish, that is a blue kind of branch that extends into either stonemasonry, woodworking, or blacksmithing, and I can actually select any one of those. What is this one? I didn't go over this one. Mass production. Okay, so again, that's basics for mass production. Excuse you. So that's what I'm kind of thinking, and that's how I want to do that. Now, if obviously I just want to focus on PvP, and I don't plan on having this character to craft or to harvest or anything, I probably wouldn't be investing real-time days into this if I had to choose one and only one. But fortunately, it's pre-alpha, so we're able to, assuming they don't wipe this, we're able to just continuously level our skills and see how they affect gameplay, if anything. What else? So my honest experiences is, like I said, I spend a lot of time crafting. I probably spent more time crafting in this game than I've actually spent in the actual combat. This game is a very much like tactical, how do I say, like a tactical gameplay and very strategic combat oriented. This isn't some face rush Guild Wars 2 or Vanilla WoW style game where you're not always going to face rush people in a campaign. You're going to strategically attack, and if you do need to face roll or approach a group, there's probably a very good strategic reason for it, right? You're not just PvPing because, oh, your faction hates my faction, we're gonna fight. That's not really how it goes. It's hey, my team of all these races need the resources, so we're gonna try to control these resources, so we're gonna fight you for it. That seems to be the current vibe I'm getting from this game currently, because I would want to create a dedicated character that would be able to dedicate time to actually harvesting. Okay, and then I want a separate character, or account, excuse me, to be able to focus on combat skills, combat related skills, right? Which we'll go over tomorrow. And then there's maybe a character that I want to focus on just harvesting. So those are the universal skill trees that you'll encounter. And what do I mean by the universal skill trees? Combat, crafting, and exploration. It says right here, universal training, 1 out of 1. You could do that. Now, according to my knowledge, I know Artcraft Entertainment is allowing people to purchase additional skill slots for training as more of a convenience factor. So just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't know if they mean like the 3 archetype trainings at once. Like, I think by default you might have only unlocked 1 and 1, and then you can purchase the other 1 or 2 through an in-store purchase, a microtransaction of sorts probably. And that's just for convenience for people who do want to level up 3 archetypes and be able to have a variety all at once instead of waiting in real time. So that is an option. I just thought to give you a heads up. That's my understanding of how they plan on. And I could be wrong. Things could change. I believe we're still a good, decent chunk away from a launch date, but once we get this into beta and we test it, it'll be pretty interesting to see things a little bit more defined and finalized. But that is crafting, guys. What else did I say? I was going to talk about theory crafting, perhaps. Yeah. So I don't know. What should we do? Plate mail? What should we do? Plate mail or chain mail? It seems. I mean, a few people like leather. Necromancy would be dope as hell if I could honestly do necromancy. That would be tight. I still have to talk to my guildies to figure out if, you know, if they had designated people dedicated to just necromancy. That'd be interesting. But yeah, let's take a look at that. For the longest time I wanted to be a necromancer, just to be able to assemble, you know, these ridiculous vessels. For those who don't know, the vessels are kind of the bodies that you occupy when you're choosing your class / archetype. So you can theoretically transfer your Crow soul into this upgraded vessel, or yeah, and then once you do that, your upgraded vessel actually has like increased stats based on, you know, the rarity of the vessel. So yeah, that's what I would do if I was looking to build this out, you know. Probably put some good experimentation points on here, assembly success rate, for sure. And then, you know, you want your recipes, and then vendor stuff will be a little bit later, almost last, because you want to be able to create your pieces before you even assemble and before you even sell. Think about selling, or maybe your guild won't allow you to sell. That'll be an interesting conversation to have, right? If you're a necromancer, are you able to just sell your body parts? If your teammates kind of farmed the body parts to you and you made a vessel, are you able to just sell and keep the profits? I don't know. That's interesting. That'll bring up some very cool dynamics and relationships and whatnot. So that'll be very interesting how that little detail works out. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think we kind of put it all out there, and I don't know, unless there's some really big glaring questions, I don't really have much else to go over for the skills. So short and sweet, as I promised. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did enjoy, hopefully you guys can join us tomorrow, same time, 8:30, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock Central Time. Typically keep it short and sweet unless there's people in here, and we have recommendations, and we typically just hang out, like chat with people, and then give recommendations for, you know, what they want to see me stream and play, and then any type of organic conversations we have pertaining to Crowfall is always welcome. So yep, until next time, have a good night. Peace out.